Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rick Levine from Sellers Commerce. I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar on Buyer Centric Microsites, creating dedicated checkout experiences for your customers. A little housekeeping note here to start with. If you are new to the webinar experience, there are a few controls in the panel there that will allow you to send a chat message or send a question to the organizers, to the panelists, and we will answer the questions either as we go throughout today's webinar, or we will hold them, and at the end we're going to allow 10 to 12 minutes of general free-form questions for everyone to ask whatever it is that they'd like to ask. Everyone is in listen-only mode. The panelists today are on audio and you'll be able to hear, but everyone else, we require that you type to make your voice heard. So we thank you for joining us today. Again, I'm Rick Levine. I am the VP of Sales here at UniformMarket. Here's my mugshot. Ashok Reddy is our president. Lee Gorsky, who is our VP of Production, is also a panelist today. Al Baker runs our professional services. Nancy Cardona, many of you in the uniform industry have likely worked with her here over the last couple of years, runs our business development. And Mark Weirich is a panelist also today. He's our national sales manager. And that is the key players here at UniformMarket. For those of you that are new to us, we welcome you. For those of you that are currently customers, we thank you for joining us for today's webinar. A quick by the numbers of Sellers Commerce for those that aren't familiar, and even those that are. You might not realize that we've been around 11 years already, since 2005 when we started up solely as UniformMarket, and we have increased our reach into other markets, so we now go by the trade name of Sellers Commerce. We have offices here in the US, in Northbrook, Illinois, in the Midwest. We also have offices in Hyderabad, India. We're currently serving customers in three locations in North America, in the US and Canada, and then in India as well. By the numbers as far as shoppers and transactions, you can see those numbers down there. There are over 4 million employees who order goods on sites managed on our platform one way or another. Lots of transactions, lots of websites served. Currently there's a unique customer base of about 300. The principal products are the B2B Program Manager, which is really what we're going to be focusing on today to show you how you manage your customers online and how you can solve the problems that they're asking you to solve. And that's really our focus today, is about you and your customer, the value of creating a dedicated checkout process for them. We also have the B2B Retailer Pro, and we run a lot of custom projects. So what we do as a summary is we help B2B retailers, distributors, and manufacturers easily manage both simple and complicated B2B purchasing programs. So everyone on the call today, we consider a B2B retailer, distributor, or manufacturer. That's why you're here. And we know that your customers are feeling the pain of needing to do business with you online in very specific ways. They may be asking you to customize their experience online in very specific ways. Sometimes it's very simple, but sometimes it can be extremely complex. And you're going to hear examples of lots of those use cases today for how you can improve your customer's experience online. We achieve this by helping you launch what are called microsites. These allow you to manage these private websites for those specific accounts we're talking about who are coming to you requesting very specific functionality. And they want you to create an experience that reflects their expectations. The whole customer service, online customer service experience revolves around that, creating a dedicated checkout experience that really matches your customer's expectations. Today's webinar will be broken into two parts after I get through introducing us all. We'll spend 20 minutes talking about why build a dedicated checkout experience at all. Mark Weirich is going to go into a discussion on the return on investment for microsites, what your customers are talking to you about, how you can talk to them about it, how you can approach it, how you can think about it, what are some of the areas to expect when building out these types of websites. Then we'll have 20 minutes from Lee Gorsky, who is going to walk us through the version 2 of our B2B Program Manager. Some that are on this call who are currently using another version of the platform will notice some significant user interface adjustments and changes, and that's very exciting. That is a version of the platform that is rolling out now, and we're very excited about it. So we'll have a tour of the shopper's experience, and we will also do a walkthrough of what the retail manager of an account actually sees, a quick overview of the administrative tools on how you can help facilitate this very important level of customer service, which is online stores with dedicated checkouts for your customers. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we'll have 10 minutes of questions. So that is my intro to today's webinar, and at this point I am going to turn it over to Mark Weirich, who is our National Sales Manager, and he is going to talk about the return on investment for building a dedicated checkout experience.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Rick, and thanks everyone for joining us today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about B2B Program Manager. I'm going to talk a little bit about the microsite experience and how everything kind of works together. The first thing I want to talk about, I think it's an important point to start on, is our vertical markets and who we actually service and what we actually do. So with regards to the spaces that are most prominent with what our offering or who our offering serves, it's going to be the uniform space, it's going to be the industrial space, it's also going to be the food and beverage space. And what's interesting about all these is they all have commonalities. And the big commonalities is you have a standard e-commerce site, you have a microsite, store experience as well for dedicated buying groups, and each vertical is going to be broken down into manufacturers, distributors, and within the manufacturer space, the manufacturer is going to be dealing with resellers, distributors, and corporate accounts. In the distributor space, they're going to be dealing with regional resellers, corporate accounts, contractors, and consulting firms. And the thing that ties them all together is they need a dedicated buying experience, which B2B Program Manager solves. So within that, we'll start off with the uniform space. We have a user study here with a company that we've done business with for a while, HPI Direct. They're a uniform and corporate apparel company, and they came to us with one of their clients, JetBlue Airlines. JetBlue came forward with a list of business rules for how their employees needed to be treated online. HPI required a platform that offered the flexibility for developing a unique online e-commerce store and stores with various rules to govern each account. So our solution was B2B Program Manager, and that enabled HPI to author rules associated with each account and enabled them to adjust the microsites to match the purchasing requirements. Now, B2B Program Manager also enabled HPI to build power user groups to organize employee shoppers into sets that matched organizational structures of each of the accounts. Management for the accounts was able to go in and create specific user views, so each employee shopper got to see only what they needed to see for their specific job function. Supervisors at each end user account were able to place orders on behalf of the employees that could not place orders for themselves online. And B2B Program Manager, as an added bonus, was integrated into HPI's systems so that the inventory positions were displayed in real time and that the order information was routed back to the shopper accounts. So as you can see here on this diagram, here's how it broke down. The first big portion was the business rules. It enabled them to set up purchasing requirements, shipping locations, and set up their user groups and interaction rules. In dedicated account websites portion, it enabled them to customize the employee buying experience and set up group-specific viewing. From the employee shopper sets, it enabled the management to supervise and administrate to the accounts. And with regards to system integration, it enabled the inventory positions to be displayed, order and shipping information to be displayed as well. So next user case I'm going to discuss is the industrial group. So we have a customer named LTL Equipment. They're an industrial lighting and fixture company. LTL struggled to manage their customer accounts for the reasons that certain customers had specific products assigned to them, and they were more custom products. So what they needed to do is create custom sets and user groups and for these specific accounts and for these specific products, and that's what they came to us with, and we recommended to them B2B Program Manager. What they did was they deployed a variety of special order items from various manufacturers that were created by demand for a number of their accounts. But those items were not available to all customers. So over time, many of the individual product sets were set up to assist the customers in isolating the right set of products for the specific buyers. Now, the majority of the customers required only a purchase order and a credit card option for payment. But many of the customers came back and requested that LTL set up account limits and allowances for their individual buyers. This allowed LTL customers the ability to track purchasing activities of their own buyers and run reports that were specific to the criteria and to that of the job sites as well. The next user case I'm going to discuss is our food and beverage space, and we are dealing with a company called JP Wholesale, and they're an alcohol distributor. Now, they were started out as a small organization, and they started to grow. And when they started to go into growth mode, they came to us, and they needed to create both a buyer-centric experience and an organized group purchasing experience. What they needed was a platform that was easy for them to use, because they weren't the most technically adept people, so they needed something easy for them to go in and navigate, and something easy for them to make changes on the sites as they needed to. That's kind of where B2B Program Manager came in. They also needed a modern look to their websites, and they also needed a very, very user-friendly shopper to cart experience. So what B2B Program Manager did was it granted them the ability to author the buyer-centric experience for the resellers and liquor stores to come in and purchase their liquor products, but it also set up group purchasing so that it was easier to manage those accounts. Not only did they have individual buyers, but they also had group buyers, which they were able to segment and address and create a tailored experience to the accounts and to each individual set. So what are you here for? Well, most of our customers, or I should say many of our customers, have come back to us and addressed the need for complex purchasing rules in particular, but also segmenting of user groups, the need for individual experience for individual buyers, and the need to set up hierarchies. They also address the need to create, manage, and deploy a dynamic buyer experience, while at the same time being able to get value and budget at the same time. So they needed the right platform to meet all of their needs. So when we talk about this, they all have one commonality, and that's the use of a microsite. And Rick elaborated a little bit on microsites, but I'm going to take it a little bit further. Generally speaking, microsites are designed for an exclusive shopper experience. You're targeting users and user groups which are outside of the norm of your standard e-commerce store. They're the customers that need a specific experience which you need to create for them. And that's where B2B Program Manager comes into play. So your big ROI for B2B Program Manager is dedicated site and checkout experience, group buyer segmentation, and simplified and user-friendly site authorship and administration. If you take all three of those points, it will hopefully equate to profit for you, and that's what the big takeaway is for B2B Program Manager. Now, the platform as a whole has 7 main points. You can set up unique business rules. We have a dynamic content management system which enables you to go in and create the experience at your fingertips for your consumers. We have ledger-based tracking to track payment options. We have responsive site design. We have an administration console that's very, very user-friendly. It's very easy to use and it's customizable to your needs. And you can also set up accounts as individuals, groups, or employee shoppers. And really, at the end of the day, all these things roll into the buyer-centric experience. The key benefits, as I touched on, organized group purchasing, ledger-based tracking, and buyer-centric ordering. Our main audiences for our product up to this point have been manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. I'm going to talk a little bit about group purchasing, organized group purchasing, because it is a main feature. So what you have with regards to segmentation of your buyers is you have your individual buyer, then you have your group purchasers. But then you want to expand out that experience to products and product sets. So we enable you through B2B Program Manager to create products and product sets that can be attached to each buying group, whether they be individual or an organized group themselves. But then you can attach specific payment options to each of those groups also, as well as different shipping rules. Maybe they want something drop shipped. Maybe they want something they want to pick something up at your facilities. All these can be customized and tied into your buying group, whether individual or group. From buyer-centric ordering experience, you're trying to create specific view creation. You want the right people to see the right things at the right times. You also want customer-centric merchandising, which our dynamic content management system enables you to do. You want to lay out the right products for the right buyers. And you want that to be an easy experience. You don't want to have the overall interaction with IT that some of the older platforms that are still being in use, you don't want that experience anymore. You want to have the control to author at your fingertips. Then fluid product-client interaction. You want a nice click to product, click to basket interaction overall. So all the movements are convenient for your customers, and that'll hopefully instigate them to want to come back, buy more, and to interact with your website and your products. Another big point to our B2B program managers are ledger-based tracking. And within the ledger-based tracking, you can set up preferred payment methods. You can arrange your ledger based on purchases, purchase orders, credit cards, allowances and points, and payroll deductions as well. You can also set up purchasing rules, which trigger different kinds of events. Then you can set up multiple ledgers. With regards to multiple ledgers, you can set up different kinds of allowances. You can set up payment types, point rules, and quota-based ordering. And for that, I've gone through my section, and Lee is going to take you through the user experience of B2B Program Manager. So Lee, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mark. That was a very good overview. Let me show my screen. Okay, welcome everyone. I hope you're all excited about this as we are. Because this really brings an interaction between you and your customer that has in the past been difficult to set up. And we've given this now a look and feel that's modern, to date, and ease of use for both your user as well as yourself. And we can simplify, we can help you simplify very complex buying scenarios. And so you can offer a system that can handle very simple scenarios to extremely complex scenarios. And what I'd like to do is start out by starting on the simple side. So your customer needs a site that their employees can just log on to and purchase the items that they need, where you can show them just the products that you want them to see as part of their purchasing program. And this is a site that people can just go to like this, log in, Whoops. And it's just one person logging into the site. They have the ability in the system to require people to change their password on their first login. And you also have the ability to allow them to skip that if you want. And for the ease of the demonstrations, I just skip that. And then you have a page that can be designed, or you can just continue to the store. So Ackerman just logs into the store, and it gets set up so that this person sees just the products that you've set them up to see, and has all the rules in place that are just for them. So you can see at the top, you're logged in as M. Ackerman. Your product group is the West Side Security Group. Your payment program is allowance only. You have an allowance of $100. And this person is only allowed to ship to their facility, so they're not allowed to enter their own addresses or change anything. They're also been assigned to the security group. So all they see are products that are in the security group, and you'll see as we get into more complex scenarios that these product sets can be easily assigned to different people. But M. Ackerman has been only assigned this one product set of the security products. So a couple things I'd like to look at on this page before we move on. Some really cool features that will facilitate your customers' interactions with you. First of all, there is the product group and payment program. So you can assign them to be in any product group. You can assign any type of a payment program you want. Here it's just the allowance only, but it could be allowance with a rollover to credit card once they've exceeded their allowance. It could be purchase order or any combination of those. All pages have filters, so if there's products you want to just see ones that come in white, or if you want to see just certain sizes, you can see those. We have a grid view. We also have another view, the list view, and you can see it looks like this, and this is just a preference. You can also see from this that it's real easy to add decoration, customization, embellishment, whichever words it is that you'd like to use with your customer. And that can all be added to any product. It's a very robust embellishment system that's in the system. Also, you can notice that each product has points and dollars. So the system allows for points only, dollars only, or a combination of points and dollars. And that can be set up very simply also.
Hey,
I'd like
Lee.
to show.
Hey,
Yes.
Lee, it's Rick. Someone's raised their hands among the attendees, and I just want to remind everyone, if you came a few minutes late, you can ask questions in the question box, which are part of the GoToWebinar tools, and we will ask the questions either as they're asked, or we will hold them, and then the last 10 minutes of the presentation, we are going to answer everyone's questions, and then some. Also, someone had already asked if the presentation would be available afterwards, and the answer is yes, we will be posting a recording of all of this. Sorry to interrupt you, Lee.
No problem, Rick. My train of thought is rolling on. So we're back to the grid view, and like for people who are going to be coming into the site often and ordering, and they know their products, there's something called the Easy Order Pad. And the Easy Order Pad allows you to just put in a product code, and so I know that I'm coming in to order the 5262, and when I do that, all the SKUs will pop up. I can go down to the SKU or the size and color that I want to order, pop it in there, put in a number of items, and just go down the whole line, and I can add multiple things to the cart at once. So this is called, we call it the Easy Order Pad. It's a nice way to do a certain amount of bulk ordering, certain type of bulk ordering here. I'd also like let's look at an actual product here. We'll look at the woman's long sleeve shirt since that's what we have been looking at. It's a typical product page. We have the zoom in the window here. There's 3 different types of zooms that you can use. You'll notice that the easy order pad is also available here. And we have, can select your color, it changes the color. Select your size, changes the size, and then you can just add things to the cart, and it just, boom, drops it into the cart. One of the things I'd like to show you on this page while we're here, whoops, I actually just want to stay on the product page, is the responsive design. So I'm going to just knock this down real quickly to the size of an iPhone or whatever phone of your choice, and you can see the responsive design just clicks in. So it's a build once, shows on any size screen, and shows nicely. Menus are up here, and you can see that there's the image. You can still get your rollovers. You can still change your colors. Everything changes. It's totally functional on any device. So here, let me get this back to a normal screen, and then we can move on. So at this point, your customer comes to you with the following needs. Now we've looked at a simple site where someone just comes on and does their own ordering. But your customer comes to you and they say, I've got 3 locations. Each location has specific needs as to who can order, what can they order, how can they pay, where can they ship the purchases. So you sit down, you review their needs with them, and then with full confidence you can tell them that you can do exactly what they need, no problem. So let's take a look at a hypothetical hotel restaurant chain that has 3 regional locations where employees cannot buy for themselves. There are managers that can buy for these employees, and each manager has access to a different grouping of uniform items. So I'm going to start out. This is a hotel restaurant chain. I'm just going to log out of this user, but if you notice, I'm in the same website. This is the same store. This is an account of yours that you set up, and I'm going to log in now as a restaurant manager for the South Side restaurant hotel. And I log in as that Southside person, and I'm going to skip the need to change. And now I see something different. I can log on to the store and I can just buy for myself, continue to store. That's a standard thing you saw in the previous example. But I also have groups that I can buy for. Now, as a Southside manager, I'm only allowed to buy for my Southside group and only the restaurant part of it. Who can I buy for? Well, anyone that's in my buying group that I've created or that has been created. So I log in, I pick who I'm going to buy for, and notice I said buy for, and I continue there, and I'm buying for M. Aaron. And there's a couple things to note here. First of all, you can see at the top, Southside Manager for M. Aaron, so it always is telling you how you're shopping. Switch employee, so I can go right back to the previous screen, go on to my next employee. And now I'm seeing 2 things here. One is I see my product group is the Southside Hyatt Restaurant, and my payment program is the Purchase Order Program. Now the reason it's that, those are the ones because I'm buying for this person. This product group and this payment group are the ones that are open for, are attached to me, because I'm buying for them. I'm not buying as them. I'm not impersonating them. I'm just buying for them. So as the Southside manager of the restaurant, I get to see 2 different groups. I get my front of the house products, and I get my back of the house products. Or I can look at all the products. If we go in and we look at one of the products, we can see it in here, and in here we have ordering in bulk turned on. So I'm going to do this. Now this one's a little different than the easy order pad. This is for this one item. I can go through and put in amounts in whichever order I need to, however many I need. You can change colors and pick your sizes, and you can add them to the cart. So this is a really nice way to do bulk ordering at the product level. And everything comes with a size chart, and then tells you what kind of shipping is available under that icon. So now that we've seen the South Side Restaurant Manager, I'd like to log out and now log in as the South Side Manager on the hotel side of the business. So I'm logging in as the hotel manager. And as I do that, you'll notice a couple different things. Okay, I can continue to the store again. Now I'm the buyer for the South Buyer Hotel. It's a different group, and it has a different set of people in it. I pick one to buy for. I'm still in the buy for mode, and I then continue to the products. And you'll see that when I land on the product page, now I don't see front of house and back of house. I see the product groups, the product sets that are appropriate. That's housekeeping and the front desk. And then everything else from there is essentially the same. Since I'm buying for, I still have the product group set that belongs to me, and the purchase order is my payment program. But you can see that the way that I signed in, I've got these very specific product sets based on things that I need to see, that I need to order for my employees. So once again, I'm going to log out because now I want to go to the North Side operations. And there I'm logging in as the North Side Manager. And one thing I want to notice here is that the North Side runs it a little differently, and they haven't broken it up between the restaurant and the hotel functionalities. And so when I log in, I see the North Buyer Group. I can buy for any of the people in there, and I'm buying as this time. This is a situation where when I log in as this person, and I'm going to log in as P. Adamson the first time, I'm buying as that person. It's like I'm impersonating them using their product sets and their payment programs. So as I continue in here, you'll see, all right, so P. Adamson, now first of all, we can buy anything. So front of the house, back of the house, housekeeping, front desk, and I'm seeing the payment program is allowance roll over to credit card because that's the payment program that's tied to P. Adamson. And they have an allowance of $100. So after a $100 spend, it would go and it would ask for a credit card. Now I'm going to go back. I'm just going to switch employees now. And instead of P. Adamson, now I'm going to select P. Adams. And the thing to notice on this page is I haven't logged out. I've just switched people, but now I'm in as P. Adams, and I'm buying as that person, and all they're allowed is allowance. So I think you can see from this that any combination of payment programs and product sets can be mixed and matched to come up with exactly what is needed for your customers and to make things as straightforward and error-proof in ordering as possible, so that once again they see all the front of the house, back of house, front desk, and housekeeping. Now I'm going to log out one more time, and we're going to go over to the West Side. And the West Side Manager is a special person because it's more of a corporate position maybe. And when they log in, they get a different view. They can now see all the groups. So they can buy for the South Group Restaurant, they can buy for the South Buyer hotel, they can buy for the North group, and they can buy for their own group, the West buyer group. They can also log in and do buying as and buying for. They get to decide how they're going to be doing it based on the needs. So this is a pretty powerful set of permissions they have. So we can see all the employees here. I'm going to go to the West buyer group. I'm going to pick M. Able, and I'm going to do buy for. When I log in and I buy for M. Able, I'm going to see that, okay, here's all the products, and here, this is another thing to note, that this person can see everything, front of the house, back of the house, housekeeping, front desk, as well as the security. So if there's certain things that you only want certain people to be able to order, it's really easy to isolate those to that specific individual or set of individuals. The other thing to notice here is that the payment program is purchase order. That's because I'm buying for M. Able. And my payment program is purchase order. I'm going to switch employees again real quick, go back to the West group, pick M. Able once again, and I'm going to buy as M. Able this time. And as I log in, we'll see that now I'm West Manager as M. Able, and now I see allowance only, because now I'm using M. Able's payment program, using their allowance and following their rules. This person can actually use and change their own shipping address. And before I go to that, I would like to show one other very, very cool feature that puts a lot of the ease of use into your hands as the person that would administer the account. I set up this user to also have admin privileges. And the admin privileges allows it to have CMS editing. So that's content management system. So if you need to change something on your page, and you're an administrator for that page, and these are very easy roles to set up and to add to people, you can add things by dropping containers into place, deciding how many columns there would be. You can drop images in, go to your assets, pick an image out, insert it, and do whatever it is you need to do. And there's video, there's carousels, there's content, and so there's a very flexible format to this. Even these spacers can be slid back and forth so that you can have stuff spaced out at the distance that you want. So there's a lot of flexibility with this. There's also, this is where you would go into the CSS editor in case you wanted to do things with different layouts that you can use CSS for. So at that point you need to be a little familiar with HTML and CSS, but you probably would have someone doing that for you. Now settings is good, especially for people that don't have those skill sets. If you want to change your base font, you can just pick one. We're on Open Sans. I'll pick one that looks a lot different, Oswald, and it just changes everywhere. Then I can change it to Roboto, or I can change it to Play. So whatever looks best for you, you can use. I like Open Sans. You can also change your button colors real easily. If you want lighter button colors, there's the text. You can go in and you can change the background. You can change the. There's just lots of things that you can do with the settings in here. You can change the header background. So you can make things really nice. You can also make things really hideous. So it's all up to you. It comes out of the box looking pretty nice. So I'm going to leave it like that for right now. There's also a forms manager, so you can create forms, link to them, and easily have those sent to you. What I would like to do is add something to my cart and just go through the process really quick here. Just add this one thing. pops it into the cart. I'll show you what the cart looks like really quick. So you can toggle things on, you can toggle things off, and you can see that I'm doing this. Buying rule is buy as, so I'm buying as Major Able. And you can see the point worth and the dollars worth. You could add all your typical things. Then you just go to the checkout. Checkout is real nice and easy. You've got the cart here that you can review if you want, or you can just get that out of the way, go straight to shipping. Now, I mentioned earlier, the other people that we were looking at did not have any choice. They either had to send it to the north side, there was no plus sign here, they had to send it to the south side, they had no choice there. But for the west side, I can send it to that address, I can send it to the north address, I can send it to any address I want, or I can add any new address that I need to. So that's a permission that's just given to that user, and it's done very easily. I'm going to just click through. The shipping is included. It tells you what ledgers you're using. I'm using a purchase order. I will just confirm that. It tells you the ledgers that you're using, and if there were multiple ledgers, if it was allowance with rollover to credit card, you see allowance, so you can see credit card, and then you just check out. It's as simple as that. You get a real nice thumbs up that your order has been completed. You can print your order receipt, and you can go on your merry way. So it's a quick in and it's a quick out. It's the kind of thing your customers want. So that takes you all the way through the order. What I'd like to do next is go in and show you a little bit about the admin. So now I'm logging in, same site, but AA is in front. That's for the account admin. And I just log in. The first page you come to is the dashboard. It's a very sort of typical overview. It just shows you orders, sales, things like that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the detail here. Recent orders, returns, your different groups. But what I'd really like to point out is under settings, the account profile. This shows you everything about the account. Shows you the employees, the employee sets, buyer groups, you know, all the different entities that are in the system in one easy place. You don't have to go through the menuing system if you don't want to. You can, but you don't have to. And anywhere from here you can link to that specific entity. So here's a view of the employees, and employees are very easy to add. Actually, I went to employees, so I went out of my rhythm here. Employees are really easy to add. So you can import them. You can import the basic details, and you can import their ledgers. Or you can add them one by one. Most people would be using our very simple import. And one of the things to notice is the way things are set up is you have employees, you get them in there, you create employee sets, and then from there you can add employee sets to buyer groups. And that's how you end up putting your groups together. Things build up. A buyer group can consist of one or many employee sets. Now the products, very easy to import. You can import all the product information on a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet, and you can also upload your own inventory. The other way to really easily add products is to download them from catalogs that we take and we maintain for you. And so you can easily add products to the system, adjust their prices, adjust their points, and add on to them. One of the cool things I'd really like to show you, people want things to be very personalized and customized. So the email templates, these are emails for events, and there are also print events. So for an order confirmation, I'll show you that. These are just invoice orders and packing slips. It's the same concept, but the order confirmation, every one of these comes with a default that we've created, but you can always make a copy of that and then edit it to whatever you want it to be like. So there's a very simple WYSIWYG user interface here, and there's placeholders that are very easy. You can drop down and add any kind of information that you want, whether it's the payment method, any of the billing information, the amounts. So you can design a very personalized, very structured order confirmation if you're not happy with the one that comes out of the box. It's all very flexible and very easy to use, and you just select which one is active by saying use this template, and the one with the green check mark is the one that is active. So finally, how do you manage your accounts? Because these are your customers that you're building accounts for. So you do that through what we call the client admin. I'm going to log into the client admin real quickly, and here's where you would do a lot of your work. First of all, when you log in, you see basically a dashboard. There's always a dashboard. Here's one, credit usage. You can see how much credit people have out by your account. But the interesting part here for you is the accounts. And I've set up in this client admin 4 different accounts. The one that we were looking at was AAA Uniform Hospitality. Now, it's one of the things that's important to note is that between the client and the accounts, there's a one-to-many. So if someone new comes to you and says, now, I've got another situation, it's a totally different person. I've got an airlines I need to set things up for. You can come in here, you create an account for them, name it, and then just start setting it up for their specific business needs, creating all the rules that are required for their personalized shopping experience. The accounts, you can do 2 things with the accounts. One is you can view the details. So you get an overview of that account without having to go through it or dig through any kind of menuing system. And you can see all the basic information about it, different things how the product is displayed, different things about the shippings, different things about their payment, whether it's active, if you need to contact them, stuff like that. The other really nice thing is from here you can go to anyone. So you just say go to account, or you can then activate the account if they're at their credit limit and they're not paying you, and you say, well, okay, no more for you. Just inactivate it, that account becomes inactive, and then you can reactivate it just as simple as a button click. And you can go to the account, and you can actually log in to their to the back end of that account, which is actually your back end also, and you can see everything that you need to see. And there's reports. Just mention that there are reports, and the same thing from your side, reports on credit limits and reports on orders. And with that overview of the system, I hope that you get a feel for how you can create a customized shopping experience for your customers and how you can do something very simple and straightforward as how you can create something that is very complex and detail-oriented. And so now, back to Rick, and we'll look at some of the questions that have been submitted. Thank you.
Yeah, excellently. Very, very thorough walkthrough of our microsite concept and how you can start to take your specific accounts with their distinct needs and create private websites to manage their purchasing programs, create an experience that completely matches their expectations. So if some of you need to drop off, we encourage you also to read more at b2bprogrammanager.com. We have started blogging on this topic, many of the ones that you've heard today. You can subscribe to that blog at blog.b2bprogrammanager.com. We are also very willing for anyone that wants a follow-up consultation to see things in more detail and ask more detailed questions about the needs that your particular customers are asking you for. We'd be happy to do that as well. Lee, one of the things that came up during this was the concept of a self-registration website. So we saw examples where the employees are pre-registered and or the employees are buying on behalf of other employees, but there are purchasing programs where you might want someone, let's say at a hospital, and they'll just go and self-register and they're not going to be preloaded. Is that, how would you handle something like that?
Well, that's handled very, very simply. There's a switch in the admin to allow self-registration, so that on the page where you saw the username and password for logging in, you would also then see a registration button. And the registration allows you to pre-assign a profile. So pre-assign a payment method, a product set group, shipping group, and I said product set group. All the different groups that are required, and you can assign a special password for that that's used when that person registers. So the only thing that that person needs to know is the URL of the website and the password that's needed to put them into the right profile so that they see the products that are assigned for them and they see the payment programs that are assigned to them.
Perfect.
And it's all done with a single button.
And then what if the products, though, change in those groups? Someone wanted to know that. If, like, certainly prices may change randomly or on a scheduled basis, right, on a contract, or the products may change out seasonally. We don't want people to order winter coats in July, so we're going to limit, how easy is it to, add and remove products from things?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, it's very easy to add and remove things from product sets, and that would be one way to accomplish what the questioner asked. The other way to accomplish it, though, is that you can create multiple product sets and you don't have to use them. So you can set up in advance your product sets for spring, summer, fall, depending on what's needed, and then just assign those product sets to your product set groups as the seasons change or whatever event it is that triggers the need for that. And it's also extremely easy just to go in when prices change and update the prices of products.
Wow, that's a new one even to me. Now, it wouldn't automatically change out those groups. I would have to log in, right, and change it to my winter set when I chose to do that, right?
Yes, but that would take probably about 30 seconds.
Yeah. Everything's easy. You've got an easy button for everything, Lee. We get it. Yeah. So
okay.
But with that in mind, though, if somebody did want it automated, where hey, I want it on a timer, that would be something that would be more of a custom project, and we would work with the customer to determine what the criteria would be for that new functionality, and then we would get a quote as to how we could accomplish that, and then we would build it on approval of that quote. So just so everyone knows that. Someone else asked if there was a limit too, though. So if they were loading employees, what if I had 50,000 employees in a particular program, and I wish I had sold that program, but if I had a program that large, a purchasing program, or I only had 5 employees, is there really a difference as far as the creating a customized checkout process is concerned?
No, it will just take a little more organization with 50,000 than it would with 5.
Excellent.
But there is no limit.
Excellent. Are there any other questions? I know sometimes people ask, I'll throw a couple out, what kind of training is provided if you did want to use our platform, and we run free training multiple times a week. Also with each of our setups, we set up individualized training sessions to help you launch and learn the platform. And that's good. How long does it take to set up a website typically? And of course that depends on the data involved, but assuming you have everything you need from your customer, right? You have all of their rules. It could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months. We've also seen sites take much longer if there's lots and lots of changes and going back and forth with your customer as to what they want. The points with rollover to credit card functionality. So every ledger, Lee, we're being asked about, can every ledger basically roll over to another ledger? So in other words, I could set the number of points, and once somebody uses up points, then they could have a credit card to pay for something, and both the point value and the dollar value can be associated with a product. Is that all of that a true statement, or am I misspeaking?
No, that is a true statement. The ledgers, payment program is made up of ledgers. Ledgers have rules within them as to like how they are set. So an allowance can go for 6 months, then it can have a use or lose at the end of it. And if someone goes over that allowance, it can roll on to the next ledger in that payment program, which might be something like points, or it could be a credit card. Mostly we've seen credit card. Mainly when we've seen points used, they're used by themselves. But you can roll them over. There's nothing that stops that.
Yep. A couple of last questions. When will this be available? And the answer is that it is available now. Version 1 of the B2B Program Manager platform, of course, has been running for 10 years and going through many twists and turns and evolution. This version that we're looking at right now, you would be among our newer users. So those of you that are like being newer alpha, beta, gamma users of a platform, we welcome you to come on board and start launching customers and solving their needs on this platform. Others that may want to wait a bit for this version to get its legs, we understand that as well. The costs are both similar and greater than our current version. There's more things happening in here. And so we would certainly welcome conversations with people about their needs and provide costs. We saw one last question, Lee. We saw an allowance for dollars. Is the points balance separate? Every ledger is tracked separately and feeds into a larger payment program. A program can be composed of points, and it only tracks points. It can be composed of points and a credit card, and it does track the values of both of those. So it will give you the ability to see all spending and track it as part of a payment program. Not sure if that answers the question entirely, but I also want to let those that are being respectful, we have gone over the 1 hour mark here, and we certainly thank you all for joining us today for the webinar on creating dedicated checkout experiences for your customers using the B2B Program Manager and talking about the concept in general. I'm Rick Levine from Sellers Commerce. We heard from Lee Gorsky and Mark Weirich at Sellers Commerce as well. We welcome you to contact any of us if you have follow-up questions. Thanks so much for your time.